Hi everyone, this is Christine Jossie of Mail Something Pretty, and today I'm combining two things that I love, tea and stamping. So I made these really cute tea boxes. So they fit 5 tea bags in there. It has a fun little way to close. And so I just thought it'd be a sweet little gift. So I'm going to show you how to make them. I actually saw there was, and I'm sorry I didn't write her name down, there was a demonstrator from, I believe, the UK who made tea boxes, but I had to convert hers. She was a little vague on some of her dimensions, so I think I kind of figured it out. And I always do a template in just kind of old cardstock. And I think hers came out, but you kind of see that hers were smaller. Now it could be that tea bags are smaller in the UK, and so I had to convert them. And so hers was pretty thin, so it only fit like 2 tea bags, but I made mine a little wider to fit 5. And so anyways, this is my version of her tea box. And it's just so sweet. So I'm going to show you some of the supplies we're going to make, and then we're going to make one and I'll show you how we do it. So first I use the cup of tea stamp set that I'm loving, and then it has a coordinating dies, and so the die will fit on both teacups, or you can have a textured one, you can build them together. You have dies to go over the greenery, you have flowers, you have there's a lemon, but you could make it a lime, you could make it an orange, you can make grapefruit, and there's die cuts, so you can kind of have fun with that. There's some hearts, so there's a lot of fun things you can do with this bundle, so I really like it. And oops, this is actually where it is. This is the new annual catalog that just started last week. So this shows some of the samples of all the tea stuff, which I just love. So let's get started. I actually have different brands of tea to show you that the tea bag sizes for the most are the same size, so all of these will fit inside your box. There are a few exceptions, but most tea bags are kind of like a standard size, so they should fit inside whichever brand that you want to use. I just thought this is good for, like, I always have tea in my purse because you never know when you go somewhere and you need a cup of tea. You just ask for some hot water, or you go to someone's house. So I just thought it's good for a purse, or it's just good for a little treat, or to have someone on someone's work desk or wherever. Okay, so I'm going to start with a piece of cardstock. So this is the new Starry Sky, and I just want to cut it. I don't think this one is cut to the right size. So I want it to be 5 3/8. 1, 2, 3, yeah. 5 3/8 by 7 3/4. So that's the size I want. So you can get 2 boxes out of 1 piece of cardstock. And then I'm going to score, hopefully you can see that. I call this the portrait side because it's in a portrait shape. So I'm going to score that at 1/2, 1 1/4. Now I could continue to 4 1/8 and 4 7/8, or I could flip it over and just repeat the 1/2 and the 1 1/4, because on this side anyways, it's the same on both sides. Not so much when I turn it, but you can do that. So I'm going to turn it to the landscape side, and then I'm going to do 1 3/4, 2 1/2. Hopefully you can see this is in view. 2 1/2, 5 1/2, and 6 1/4. So this little piece is just a hair smaller than, like, thinner than that side, and you'll see why in a second. All right, so now I'm going to take my scissors. I'll leave that there, so if you want to copy it. These were my original dimensions, trying to figure out what she was doing, and I changed them, but that's a little neater for you. I'm going to cut So hopefully you can see there's like almost like 4 squares or 4 rectangles. I'm going to cut each of these 4 off on all 4 sides. So all 4 of these are, I don't need them anymore. Sometimes I fold on the scores before I cut and sometimes I don't. That's up to you. That's a preference. You could even flip it over if you think it's easier to cut on your dominant side. All right, so those are scraps. So now it looks like that. So now I'm gonna score, or fold rather. I suppose I could use my bone tool that I rarely use, but trying to start to use it because it does give a better fold. Okay, there we go. So that is it. So remember I said there's one side is a little bit bigger than the other or wider. I want the wider side to be on top. Okay. So before we glue that together, I have DSP Designer Series paper. I have 2 pieces. They're both 2 5/8 inch wide. One is 1 1/2 and one is 1 3/8. So again, that's just to because of the different sizes. But before you glue these together, this is really important because we forgot to do this in club and it made a difference. I'm going to take the smaller piece because that's my bottom piece, and on the top edge I'm just going to make a little V cut like that. You can kind of see it, so it's not so neat, but that's okay. Okay, so that's important. So now when I glue this on here, I only want to glue 3 sides. I want to leave this open. And the reason why that's important, because when we do our little latching system, this is going to slide right in here. And if it was glued, it would not slide in there. Okay, so hopefully you can see that's going to slide right in there. When we made this one yesterday, I forgot to tell us, and I also did it. So what I ended up doing, I have 2 pieces of the paper, so it's a little harder to see, so I had to glue a piece of paper on top. That's how we fixed it. All right, so I just want to glue these 3 sides, so that's really important. So that's going to go, this is going to be my bottom, and you can use whatever print side. They're all kind of fun. Checked my glue before I turned on the camera. Okay, here we go. So glue only 3 sides. So my top side does not have glue. Okay, and then for this piece, I can glue all down. That doesn't matter. Okay. So now I'm going to glue. You can use Tear and Tape, but I really like the glue best. I'm going to put some glue on this edge and this edge, and I'm going to close it shut like that. So these come together really nice. Once you have all the score lines done. All right, so I'm going to close that side. And then I'm going to close, oops, this side. There we go. And just pinch it closed. Make sure that's closed to the bottom. Sometimes it's hard doing things on camera. All right, so I'm just gonna pinch it. Okay, so there we go. So all sides are closed. So now I'm going to push this back, just kind of out of the way. I'm going to cut a diagonal line. You can kind of see I have these diagonals here. So from this corner over to that corner. And I'm just going to eyeball it. And I'm going to do the same thing from this out corner to this in corner. Okay. So there is kind of my box. And now we're going to make our flap. So I'm using just, this is the Orchid Oasis. I think that's what it's called. And I'm using this, I think it's a Taylor tag punch for my, the way to close it. But if you don't have this punch, that's okay. You can just use a rectangle piece of paper, or if you have some other piece that you know you just want it to kind of latch in. But this shape seems to work out pretty good. All right, and how I'm going to put this on. So again, I have glue that's kind of on the outsides of this. So when I latch this to go in, it's only going to go as far as, you know, the glue lets me. So I'm going to guess it's about that much. And I'm going to close this. Make sure you close it so it's shut, not how it's kind of closed. So close it. And I'm just going to make a pen mark or a pencil mark. Originally when I did it, I actually did that and I put glue and I glued it shut. But because there was nothing under here, it was just hard to get it to stay closed. So I dropped it and had glue everywhere. So this seems to work. So I'm going to only put glue in the upper half of above that pen mark, because again, when this closes, so you can kind of see it's not glued all the way, because when this closes, it needs to slide kind of further in, because this piece is longer than this piece. So that non-glued area gives that room to do that. Hopefully that makes sense. So I'm going to leave my pen mark there, and now I'm just going to take my box, flip it upside down, and just line that up with my pen mark. Like that. I'll just let that glue, but see how it's, this part is not glued shut. So that's what I want. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry for a second. So basically that's the box. So now we'll just decorate it. So I have already cut out a circle. These are from the new Stylish Shapes dies, which I love. We actually use these on all 3 of our club projects this month. So you'll see in another video, I kind of explain it a little bit more. And I already cut out my teacup, my tea label, and my lemon. My aunt loves lemon in her tea, and I actually gave her one of these for Mother's Day. So there's an outline of the, there's actually 2 sizes. I thought there were 2 sizes on here. Oh no, it's the inner part. Okay, sorry. This is the inner one. That's a smaller size. But the outline, and it fits, a lot of these words fit in there. So I put in, it's time for tea. So I just stamped this first in the parakeet party, and then I used the words and I stamped them in the starry sky. All right, so we'll just kind of build our tea here. Put a little lemon on top. Oops. All right, so this, and I stamped my teacup in the sweet sorbet. Just so I'm using all the new colors except for the yellow. That's Daffodil Delight for my lemon. Okay, and then I'm gonna put my little tea bag right here. And then what I did for the top, I put a little bow, and this one I stamped Sweet Sorbet ink onto Sweet Sorbet cardstock, so you just see the difference. I have, this is the white twine from the Neutrals pack, and I just made a little bow. And then how I put it on there was I took a mini glue dot, kind of see it, and then I just rolled it into a little ball. Oh, I just lost it. Do another one. I lost it. Because the glue dot is bigger than where my knot is. So, well, you can see, it's just a little rolled up glue dot, and then I'm just going to stick my bow right on top. Because if I put the whole glue dot, even though it's mini, you would see it. So now you don't see it. So that's what I did there. And then I will just put it on there. Now I'm only going to put glue on the top because I don't want, again, I want this to be separate. So just putting glue on the top, and it's strong glue, so I'm not worried. And I'm going to put that right like that. I'll center it, push it. And then, oh, the last thing is, so we have our little V here with the paper. At first it's hard to separate the two, and so what I found is, okay, you can do that, or I just put my pinky in there once I can get it in there. And I just kind of stretch it a little bit. You know, my glue has dried, so I just kind of stretch it a little bit. And so now, and then this should kind of separate. Okay, so now it's easy to slide in there. Now hopefully the person you give it to understands that. You could do more of a contrasting color, and that might make it a little bit more clear, but I just love how it just slides. It just slides right in there. So I will fill this one up with tea and think who I want to give it to. All right, so slide this one in so it looks a little bit better. See, it slides in much easier after you do it a couple times. So there are my little tea boxes. So I hope you like it. Again, it's wide enough for 5 tea bags, and I just think it's a really nice gift. If you don't want to do this little closing mechanism, that's fine. So you could still, you could just do a belly band, right? Just take a piece of cardstock, put it, and then you just slide it on and off. So you don't have to mess with that, but it's just a different way of closing a box. I appreciate you watching. I hope you like the project. Love to hear about it. Feel free to type any comments in the comment section below. Subscribe to my channel so you know whenever I publish a video, and also be sure you're on my mailing list. I send out weekly emails every Tuesday afternoon, and sometimes 1 or 2 more a week, depending on what's going on in the Stampin' Up! Community. Yeah, so thanks again. I'm Christine Josti of Mail Something Pretty. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.